Hey everyone, welcome back to the weekly astrology and pick a card reading. This is for the 9th of August through to the 15th of August 2021. This week the astrology is very Virgo heavy, though we're still in Leo season. And what's happening this week is Mercury is going to be moving out of Leo, where the energy was quite blunt and strong in terms of communications, and possibly even some aggressive energy with communications, shifting into Virgo energy. And Mercury is actually very well placed in the sign of Virgo. It's one of its home signs. So Mercury rules Gemini. It's also in its home sign in Virgo. What this highlights with the sign of Mercury, the planet of Mercury being in that sign, is it highlights intellectual communication, the details, focuses on the details of day-to-day life, routine, all that sort of thing. And it can be a little bit fastidious in a way where it can be an energy where we get in, on the one hand, very positively observational, very aware of details. But on the other hand, it can become a little bit neurotic, only because, and I say that because we have other things in Virgo as well, with Venus in Virgo still and Mars in Virgo still. And so Mercury will remain in observational and intellect focused Virgo from this week, from around Thursday through to the 30th of August. After the 30th of August, Mercury moves into peace-loving Libra, which is a bit more of a chilled out energy and more social as well. So this week, the energy, as I said, it is very Virgo heavy. So it can trigger, and I mentioned this last week, some issues around people feeling a little bit neurotic about certain things, like the details of their life, health issues or worries, being hyper focused on, can be a little bit fearful, the Virgo energy. It is a bit of a perfectionist energy, so just watch out for being a bit too critical with yourself and others, or a bit too a little bit neurotic. I mentioned it last week. On the positive, from the 11th to the 12th, so in a few days, Venus in Virgo will make a trine aspect with Pluto in Capricorn. This is very, very positive for anyone that has Earth placements, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, between around 21 to 22 to about 25 of those Earth signs. So this can be very positive and harmonious for relationships. It can be that if there's been a difficulty in relationship, there's a chance to possibly heal something or smooth over something, keeping in mind that Venus is in fall in Virgo. It's not really the time to go all out with over-the-top expression in a situation where you feel a bit uncertain, whether it's to do with love or finances or work. So even though it's harmonious with the Venus trine Pluto this week on the 11th and 12th, that can be a nice energy. It can be quite a gentle energy. For work, I'd say it's more harmonious for improvements within the workplace or improving something to do with your health. When it comes to relationships, because Venus is in its full sign in Virgo, I'd say be a little bit more careful with this energy. So once again, if you're in a tentative situation with someone with regards to a relationship, or if you're feeling uncertain about an interaction with somebody that's important to you, whether it's a boss, someone that you're interested in romantically, or someone else that you're dealing with that has authority in some way, just be a bit more erring on the side of caution and kind of it's more of a reserved energy. It's not a super bold energy, and it won't favor really bold action. So that's just something to keep in mind, and especially if you have anything, as I said, from around 21 to 25 degrees of an earth sign, or even Pisces energy as well. Okay, so the other stuff that we have is on the 15th, bit of a tense energy because the sun in Leo hits that 22 degrees of a fixed sign. That's known as a certain type of critical degree. Like usually I speak about the anaretic degree or the critical degrees being 0 or 29, but there are other degrees which are known as critical degrees, and the 22 degrees of a fixed sign is one of them. On that day, on the 15th, on the Sunday, it's Sunday here in Australia, that 22 degrees energy of Leo happens to be on the same day of a moon in Scorpio, which is in a full energy. So I would suspect that there's something very intense that may be happening, and may not be everywhere. It may be in, in certain countries. There may be something in Australia. There may be something in the US. I don't know exactly where, but I'm saying that the energy is quite intense and heavy on that 15th this week, okay? At the end of this week. So it's just something to be aware of. It's something more so in the collective rather than individual. And let's see what else. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here. So Venus and Mars will still be in Virgo. Mars for a couple of weeks longer at least. I can't remember the exact date it comes out. I mentioned it in previous weekly readings, but Venus is coming to the end of Virgo this week and actually moves into Libra next Tuesday. That is actually good news for Venus to be moving out of Virgo. As I said, it's in its full placement. It doesn't express itself very well. So if you're wanting to see some kind of improvement in your romantic life, you would probably notice that this week there may be some little positive development on some level with that Venus trine Pluto, but next week the energy is much more harmonious for love and relationships, with Venus moving into social Libra from Tuesday. So that's something to keep an eye on for those that are focused on relationships or new relationships, or looking to see where there can be improvement in love. Especially good for Librans and air signs from next week Tuesday. So I'm just mentioning that now so you know. This week, kind of just go more with the flow around love. Don't try to push anything, with Venus still in full in Virgo. And then next week, just to mention quickly, Uranus goes retrograde next week, and there is a full moon in Aquarius on the 22nd next week as well. And it's a really strong full moon because it conjuncts with Jupiter. I'll talk about it next week, but it's actually a blue moon because we've had 2 full moons in Aquarius over the course of the last month, even though they were spread over 2 months. It's known as a blue moon when you have 2 full moons within a 4-week period or so. So that's coming up next week with the full moon in Aquarius. So that's the energy for this week. Let's have a look at, just need to get a pen here. Do I have one? Yes, I do. I got to write down just what signs I'm doing. So I might do the earth signs first this week. Earth, air, water and fire. Okay, so let's look at the earth signs this week. So I'll just tell you guys what cards I'm using, because sometimes people like to know. So I've actually got them right up here. I don't know if you can see them. I'll move the camera. So these are the decks I'm using. So the Rainbow Oracle, the Spirit Junkie Oracle, and the Crystal Angels Oracle, and also the Astro Dice as usual. So let's look at the earth signs for this week. So this is going to be for Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. I might use the Rainbow Oracle first. These are very beautiful spiritual messages, very deeply spiritual. Okay. Earth signs. This one's jumping out. What have we got for earth signs? Universal child. Within the eyes of a child, there's a universe where innocence is guided by love and trust and has no boundaries. Okay, very deep message there. It feels like it's talking about remembering that you've come here to the earth at this time for a reason, okay? That there's a bigger reason why you're here, and there's a bigger picture going on. And even though it may seem like certain things are difficult right now, earth signs, there is a reason for everything, okay? And to remember that, to remember there's a big picture going on, not just a small picture of your daily life. Life-changing epiphany or experience. It's a time of big and blessed change for you, and God is supporting you each step of the way. Wow, lapis lazuli. So lapis lazuli is a crystal that helps with the throat chakra, communication, but also third eye and opening up to clairvoyance and intuition. And lapis lazuli is also a crystal about protection, so protecting your energy but not in a fearful way. So this is another last message for earth signs. There's something here, sorry, it's a bit stuck with another card. I'm ready to go big, rise up, and step into my power. Okay, so for the earth signs, if you've been struggling in fear in any way, this is just a message to say to you, it's not the time to be fearful. It's the time to build yourself up, to work on your self-esteem, your inner strength, to remember that you're a child of God, that you're here for a reason, and your intuition is trying to prompt you from within. So it is really important for you to not so much rely always on external validation, but look at what your own spirit is telling you, is what I'm getting here. Let's look at the astro dice for the earth signs. 10th house, yep, and Saturn, career. So very strong energy for the earth signs of getting serious with regards to career. There's something this week to do with your career, to do with working on something, putting efforts into something, and having the patience and determination. With these two energies, Saturn in the 10th house, it's about your personal goals, your career, your direction that you want to go in the future, but it's about putting the work in. Pisces is also saying balance your practical life with the spiritual aspect as well. So these are very spiritual cards here in terms of understanding there's a big picture to things. It's not just the small picture of a struggle. There's something else going on, that you're always being guided, you know, each step of the way. And it's just remembering that. And it's this Pisces energy is also about paying attention to your dreams, your intuition, psychic ability, developing your psychic ability, and allowing yourself to have downtime where you kind of you're not working on something all the time. You're kind of having moments where you meditate, or you go into nature, or you do something creative to operate that other side of the brain, you know, having a bit of balance between the left and right brain hemisphere. All right, so that's what I'm getting for the earth signs this week. Okay, let's see what else for the next group. So the next one I'm doing is air signs. All right, air signs. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What's coming up this week? Jumping card. Divine Feminine. Beautiful. I love that card. So pretty too. It's like got sort of this gold here. Flow in the rhythm of the divine heart. It's your cosmic gateway to all of creation. So air signs is something this week about tapping into your more gentle feminine side, receptive side, and you may be feeling air signs more in your feminine energy, in your divine feminine essence, where you are learning to be more aware of that need to receive rather than the need to control or always overly give to others. Okay, so it's about receiving, being receptive, being open to the flow of abundance and to the love that wants to come your way from the universe. I am committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. Well, that's nice. So very interesting that should come up, because sometimes people think that if you're in this receptive mode, that it's too passive, or, you know, you're not embracing your strength or your power. But that's not the case. It's that you need to balance sometimes both masculine and feminine within. The masculine energy within the self is proactive, is organizing, is taking action steps. The divine feminine is receptive, is open. It's the opposite energy. So I'm feeling like with these two together, it's talking about balancing your masculine and feminine sides this week, and something about being aware of this, working on this, air signs, not being overly giving to others, and not being in the opposite energy too much either. Okay, something comes up about forgiveness. So I do feel there's a lot of energy around healing in relationships, and you might even be having to forgive yourself for something that you feel that you made a mistake on, and it may not even be a mistake. It may just be the way that you're seeing it from your earthly perspective. It says time to release repressed anger as it's blocking your health and happiness. So there could be a situation this week that you feel a bit triggered around, air signs, where you feel that you have some resentment against other people or a situation or a person, and you may have a sense that that emotion that's coming up connected to this is blocking you. And so the energy here is advising letting that go and seeing things from a different perspective, and almost like asking yourself, is this productive to be focused on this negative energy? Is it actually helping my life? Especially if it's something that's been repeating itself over and over. Sometimes when we have some kind of repetitive pattern that just doesn't go away, and we can't sort of work out a way to deal with it, it's something that we're not owning in ourselves, usually a shadow aspect of ourselves. So there's something about that here that comes up for the air signs. Let's see what the astro dice say. Air signs. Interesting. First house, which is the house of self and identity, your path forward. Capricorn, which is about hard work, determination, career goals, practical matters, and organizing things. With the first house, it's organizing things for your future, for your path forward. Neptune You may be feeling a bit sensitive this week, air signs. You may be feeling more sensitive than usual with Neptune in the first house. Let's see what else I'm getting with Neptune here. Neptune's definitely more of a receptive feminine energy as it comes up here with the Divine Feminine card. There could be creative energy around you this week, or it could be that Neptunian themes like music, spirituality, healing are issues that are coming up. And because we did have the first house on the dice, also I'd say healing of the body could come up. For some people, might not be all with the air signs. Okay. All right, and let's see for the water signs this week. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, jumping card. The Alchemist. Wow, what a card. When you understand the essence of everything is contained within everything, all things become possible. Really deep message there. So with the water signs, there's something about alchemy. Alchemizing your experience in a very deep way. Profound realizations, profound understanding, mind, body, and soul level healing, not just on a mental level or not just on an emotional level, on a really deep level. So some water signs are going through a really deep, powerful, transformational experience this week. And for some reason, I'm picking up something to do with shamanic healing or shamanism or some kind of healing that may be to do with that or similar along those lines. It could be something else. It could be like Reiki or something like that as well. Let's see what else for the water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Oh, very watery energy. Compassion is my compass. I'm willing to hold space for the experience of others. So, wow, maybe someone's doing some healing work this week. Either you may be receiving healing or somebody is... so you're either receiving it or you're giving it, or it could be both. There's a lot of strong healing energy here. It's asking you to also be compassionate with yourself and be gentle with yourself. Don't try to force situations. And sometimes we feel like we need to know the answers to everything, and it's almost like letting go of that a little bit and just being in the moment with yourself. Sort of simplifying things I'm getting this week for the water signs. Ametrine. Balancing masculine and feminine energies. How interesting. The air signs just got a similar message before. Allow your feminine side to creatively inspire you and your masculine side to give you confidence. Kind of self-explanatory. Ametrine, the crystal ametrine is really, like, I don't usually focus on the crystal so much for these cards, but the energy of ametrine is really kind of speaking to me with this card for some reason. So maybe someone's looking at getting a new crystal and there's something about ametrine or amethyst and citrine. Let's see what the Astrology say. So you have the third house, which is the house of communications and short trips and siblings, cousins, extended family, neighbours. Might be some confusion with communication though, with the Neptune in the third house. I can't remember what came up then. I have to roll it again. Taurus. So Taurus energy for the water signs. There could be something to do with a focus on issues around things happening in your community this week, water signs. So there could be something about food. Taurus energy, belongings, material things, your money. Issues related to all of these things. The throat chakra as well with the Taurus can be about communication, because you did have the third house as well. Taurus represents the throat chakra. The third house is a Gemini house, so there's a lot of focus with those messages there on communication. So you may be communicating with certain people this week. You may be looking at working on healing in terms of physical body healing or some other level of emotional healing. Could be both, you know. Usually healing, it's something that is often interconnected, mind, body, and soul. But there could also be realizations this week to do with something very profound. And I do see someone working with crystals this week and finding some kind of healing through either making jewelry or working with crystals, doing a crystal grid. There's something about nature as well with the leaves. I'm really drawn to that. Photography, spending time in nature, getting out in nature. Some very soft, beautiful energies here, but it is asking you to work on balancing your masculine and feminine energy. So with that, it's saying don't just sit in the passive energy of the feminine or the overly dominant energy of the masculine. Don't sort of get stuck in either polarity, but merging them together, especially with this card, the Alchemist, which is about integrating yourself into, you know, an authentic whole self. So that's pretty powerful. And lastly, the fire signs. Okay, so Aries, Leo, Sag. Aries, Leo, Sag. Wow, jumping card. Detach. Retreat from situations that are not in harmony with your soul and open your heart to greater love of self. That's a beautiful card. I really love that message too. Fire signs, it's time for self-love and detachment from things that are not in harmony with your soul. The difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. All right, fire signs. So if you're having difficulty with people, or if you feel some kind of strain or worry or something going on in your mind about a relationship or about a specific person that's kind of bothering you, it's saying for you to use that situation as a mirror to look at what is it that's really bothering you about this other person, and what is that trying to get you to look at in yourself. So I feel like it's more to do with one person that's either on your mind, or thinking about someone that said something to you in a way that you didn't like, or there might have been a communication with someone that you already know that is harping on your mind, you know, something like that. It's time to look at it a little bit more deeply for yourself. Last card for the fire sign, smoky quartz. Clear negativity. Yeah, release negativity from within and around you. So yeah, there's something, see how it says detach and then it says release negativity. Those two are very connected. So if there's some kind of drama in your mind, fire signs, about a relationship, about a person, detaching from it this week is actually going to be good for you and better for you than just harping on an issue. Also for the fire signs, you may want to be spending more time alone, and you'd rather sort of be on your own than being around people that are negative at the moment, or people that are sort of in some kind of drama. Let's see what the Astro Dice have to say. North Node, 11th house, Capricorn. So the 11th house is groups, friendships, other people. Capricorn can be people that are being a little bit dominant in some way. The North Node is an energy here of asking you to focus on what's in front of you, you know, step by step, rather than getting caught up in any sort of heavy or pessimistic energies to do with the group mind or the collective or friends that are just not, you know, that are not being positive at the moment. It's more an energy of looking, kind of having some self-reflection time, detaching from drama and spending time alone this week more so than anything else. There's a lot of reflective energy here. There's a lot of wanting to be on your own and enjoying time on your own, in self-reflection and in peace and harmony. That's what I'm getting. All right, guys, so if you'd like to book a reading, the link is below. Please be aware the turnaround time is minimum 9 to 16 business days unless you book an urgent reading. If you book an astrology report, like a typed report, that's at least 2 weeks. And if you book like an online Zoom session, a live one, I do book those within the week. The other readings that I have, they all have their own individual timing. It's all set out on my online store. So the link is below. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I do post pretty regularly on there as well. Have a really great week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.